everything that we want in life does come at some price. And that's not a bad thing. It's not a reason to not want it. It's not a reason to give up on our goals. Instead, it's really a reason to lean in more. Figure out what currency are we willing to pay. Welcome back to another episode of the Fasting Method podcast. This is Coach Terri Lance, and I am here solo. Sometimes I feel like when I do a solo episode, I'm on a little bit of a rant, and I wanted to think of a way to describe these so that they were not negative. This is not a Terri's diatribe. But I looked up in ChatGPT to see if it could help me find a better definition or a better word. And what I found is Terri's Turbo Talk. So let's go for one of Terri's Turbo Talks today. The theme I've been thinking about wanting to share with you has something to do with what you are willing to do to achieve the goals that are important to you. I'm trying to capture that idea that everything we want in life, whether it's success, weight loss, more knowledge, better skills, freedom, or peace, or whatever, it really demands an exchange, some form of currency. I couldn't think of a better word than this, but when I'm talking about currency, I'm not always talking about money. Certainly, some of these things we can do some things to achieve them that cost something financially. But I'm really talking about currency that isn't always money. Sometimes it's something else that is of value to us, like our time, effort, attention, discipline, vulnerability, comfort or discomfort. So in pursuing things that we want, we exchange something for it. We invest something in it. We give our comfort, we give our time, we give our effort, whatever it is, so that we achieve the outcome that we're desiring. So really, our desires don't come for free. To gain something that's worthwhile, we have to give something that's worthwhile in return. And I think this is really important when I think about people changing their relationship with food and doing things to change our health and our weight by doing fasting, by doing time-restricted eating. We are really giving things that we value in order to earn something else that is highly valued by us. So if we want to get better at something, we have to sacrifice something. We have to put more effort in, even though it's uncomfortable, even though it may not be fun. If we want to build a future that looks a particular way, it generally involves some type of sacrifice of ease in the present. And you've heard this theme in a lot of different episodes if you've listened to others or if you attend any of the TFM meetings that I run. But I think it's really an important part of this journey for all of us to really be thinking about it. Everything that we want in life does come at some price. And that's not a bad thing. It's not a reason to not want it. It's not a reason to give up on our goals. Instead, it's really a reason to lean in more. Figure out what currency are we willing to pay. So let's say, for example, you wanted to build confidence in something that you're working on, or just overall confidence in your life. How do you do that? You take risks. You keep showing up, even when you don't know that you're going to be successful yet. If you want success, what do you invest to earn that? You put time into it, you put effort into it, even when you don't get any credit for it, even when no one congratulates you, you keep investing. One of the big reasons I wanted to talk about this topic today is I think some of us still struggle with kind of wanting big things to just happen for us, changes to occur in our lives without effort, without challenge, without discomfort. And it's just really not the way it happens. The cool thing is that it means that we are not just kind of at the mercy of chance. We don't have to just wait around and hope our health changes, hope our fatty liver improves. We actually get to take steps to earn the results that we want. So in every choice that we're making, every decision that we make, we're really paying into that future that we're building. We're laying that groundwork. So it's really important that we show up, pay the price, keep investing, because again, those valuable things that we want, they're not free, they're earned. So let's talk a little bit about some of those and how we earn them and what that looks like. What I encourage people to think about is, what is it that you want? Knowing what's important to you. Do you want lower inflammation? Do you want lower body fat percentage? Do you want to wear different size clothing? Do you want more mobility? Do you want better health? Do you want to be free of type 2 diabetes? And then think about, why is it important to you? So just saying, I want this, it often doesn't really motivate us, but why is it important to you? What would it mean if you achieved that thing or had that thing present in your life or got rid of that thing in your life? What will it add or remove or prevent or delay for your life? So let's say, for example, you want to lose 100 pounds because you know that the strain that that's putting on your knees and your hips is making it more and more challenging for you to be pain-free. It's making it more and more challenging for you to have stamina, to be able to engage in activities, to travel, to exercise, to do other things that might be enjoyable. So you know that losing that weight can help relieve some of that pressure on the knees and the hip and your back. Your feet, help you feel more able to be more mobile, help you to engage in more things. So then think about, what currency are you willing to invest? Now, sometimes you have maybe heard me talk about this, but sometimes it is financial currency. Will you hire a coach? Will you join the community? Will you pay for something that can help you? But there are a lot of ways of investing that don't actually mean spending more money. Are you willing to put time into it? Are you willing to put some discomfort, some delayed gratification? Are you willing to handle a social situation differently, even though your family and friends are eating certain food? Are you willing to not eat that food or not eat at the event? What currency are you willing to invest? So let's say, for example, one of the things you know is that you have a lot of inflammation and you really want to have a decrease in inflammation for pain, for ability to lose weight more freely, and to maybe prevent continued health problems, autoimmune problems, and problems with your mobility and problems with your joint health and things like that. So what currency are you willing to invest to achieve decreasing your inflammation? Are you willing to skip a few meals? Are you willing to skip a few meals every week for a while? Are you willing to forego some highly processed foods or some particular ingredients that you know result in inflammation for you? Are you new to fasting and just aren't sure how to get started? Or have you been working on fasting for a while now and keep running into obstacles? We have coaches at TFM that can help you through this journey. We can help you learn the necessary skills, support you, help you create your plans, and tweak them when things need to be changed. We offer health coaching, and accountability coaching depending on what you need. Some of our coaches offer one-on-one coaching where each session is specifically focused on you and what you're working on to achieve your goals. We also offer small group coaching. This option allows you to get the support with several other clients who are also working on the things that you're working on. Either way, you get the specific help that you are looking for to help you make your fasting a successful journey. Whether you're working on weight loss, improving your health, increasing your longevity, you can achieve that in working with one of our TFM coaches. All you have to do is sign up for a free intake session to get to meet with a coach and see if coaching is the right thing for you. Let's say, for example, one of the things you want to work on is better sleep. You believe that if you slept better, if you had better quality of sleep, that you would feel better, your work day would go better, you would have more patience with people, and again, your body would be able to release weight and heal better. What currency are you willing to invest to get better sleep? Will you turn the iPad off after dinner? Will you go to bed early enough? Or are you going to stay up and watch Netflix? There's that exchange. Would I love to just lie in bed and watch Netflix? Of course. But if what is really important to me is better sleep, I have to be willing to maybe sacrifice a few episodes, turn it off earlier, forego the entertainment value of it in order to provide myself that opportunity to improve my sleep. Let's say you already know what you want and you know that something that will help you to achieve it is to do more fasting than what you're currently doing, or if you're brand new to this, to learn how to fast. So let's think about fasting. What does it cost? What is the exchange that you might need to make in order to build your fasting muscle? For many of us, we have to break up with the habits of eating. Some of us are very used to, these are my meal times, these are my snacks, this is what I always do, and we have to change those habits. Some of us have created a habit of snacking in the evening while we're relaxing. If we want to learn how to fast and achieve the other goals through fasting, we're going to have to let go of that habit. We are going to have to probably face some discomfort, some boredom, some uncertainty about what to do instead. That's the currency. Now, the nice thing again is we can figure it out. We can find other ways to occupy ourselves. We can learn to meditate, to relax. We can go to sleep earlier. All kinds of things that we can do to change that old habit. We are not a victim to those habits. Again, if we're working on creating our fasting muscle and getting our fast to be something that we feel successful at doing, thinking about what do we exchange for it. Sometimes it might mean we don't attend social events while we're fasting. For some of us, it might mean we still attend the events and we don't eat at the events. What is the currency here? It's awkward. It's hard to not eat while other people are eating. We have to navigate people asking or people wondering, people criticizing. What is it worth to us? I've gotten to the point now where I sometimes will go to social events and not eat because I'm fasting. And I feel very comfortable now with how I handle it around the people that I would do that with. So again, thinking about if you are saying, yes, I want to fast more. I want to do 342s, or I want to learn how to get 324s every week for a while and then maybe move up from there. I want to challenge you to think about what is the currency you're willing to invest. Because without that, there's no way to build a fasting muscle by wishing and hoping it'll just happen. You have to be willing to invest what it takes. And again, oftentimes that is patience, it's time, it's resisting urges, It's learning new habits. It's moving to a different part of the house so that you're not where the food is. All kinds of things can be that currency or that what it takes in order to build that new habit. I often talk in analogies. And so I was thinking about an example that many of us could relate to, even if it's not something we've ever wanted, but we can imagine it and we can picture other people who maybe have wanted it. So if you want to drive a very fancy sports car, let's say, if you want to drive a Ferrari, what is the currency? What does that cost? Well, I should have looked this up, but I'm sure it costs a lot of money. So one, to buy it, there is a financial investment. But that's not the only investment, because that just means now you own a Ferrari. But what else does it cost? What else do you have to invest? I'm guessing you have to pay money to maintain it. You probably maybe don't want to work on it on your own and change out things on your own. You might want to actually invest in a skilled tradesperson who can provide good service for that car. I'm guessing you would probably want to make sure you get the right fuel for it. You would not put the cheapest fuel available. You would invest in the right fuel. And that fuel might not be available at the gas station near you, so you might have to drive across town or go somewhere to get that fuel. You're going to have to ensure that the environment won't ruin it. Maybe you don't want to drive your Ferrari on a dirt road where there are a lot of potholes and ruts and things. You're going to make sure that you drive it on roads where the quality of the roads aren't going to damage things in the car, that are going to help you maintain it. So again, it wasn't just the financial investment to get the Ferrari. Now you have to do things to maintain the Ferrari and live in a way that suits a Ferrari. And if that's the body that you want, if you want a body that is optimal and working well and free of pain and free of excess health concerns and excess body fat, what currency are you willing to invest? Will you forego snacks? Will you skip some meals and get some good fasts in there? Will you risk other people commenting that you're fasting and they don't understand it? Will you invest figuring out how to avoid temptations and urges? Will you be willing to sit with your stomach grumbling and keep fasting to get to that healing place? Will you work on the sleep? Will you work on movement? Will you work on the other things that help make fasting more successful? Will you choose foods that work for your body? Again, will you resist the temptation to eat foods that you know cause you inflammation, that cause you high insulin spikes? What are you willing to invest to reach your goals? Now, the other thing that I wanted to say about this, and this might be me being a little bit of a devil's advocate here, but I think this is one of those things we all have to really consider. It's easy to want things, and sometimes we find it hard to commit to the steps to invest. So for example, I have for a long time wanted to get back into doing a form of exercise that was more routine and involved resistance training, weight bearing exercises and things. So I finally recently invested in a personal trainer. I'm going 3 times a week. What is that requiring? One, it did involve a financial investment. Now, if I were not able to do that financial investment, there are other ways I could still get that. It would be different. But for me at this time, that was an investment I was willing to make. What else does it cost though? What other currencies? Time. I have to show up 3 days a week at 8 a.m. That means I can't do work things at that time. I need to drive there. I need to drive back. So it actually means taking 2 hours out of my day, 3 days a week. Now, there have been other times in my life where I was not willing to invest that currency. And, to some of us, we might think of that as an excuse. I said I wanted it, but I wouldn't get up and do it. I wouldn't drive to the workout. I wouldn't make the financial investment. And that's okay. It's okay to not be willing to invest in it. But I think we have to be really honest with ourselves that we can't keep saying that something is really important to us and yet not be willing to really dig in and figure out what the exchange is and what of that exchange we are willing to do. If we are not willing to do what it takes, if we're not willing to make that exchange, then we have to work on accepting the results that we have rather than keep wanting something that we're not actually willing to do the work for. Now, some of you know I love to watch the show, My 600-Pound Life. One of the reasons I like to watch it is because I think this point that I'm talking about in this episode is so evident there. These people are willing to do a very big thing. Some of them have to travel 1,000 miles, and it's very painful for them to travel to go see this doctor. And then in order to have the surgery, they have to move there. And they have to have someone move there with them. So they need to have a friend or a family member or their entire family move to Houston with them in order to do this program that they want for a second chance in their life, is what many of them describe it, to save their lives, because they know that at any time they could die based on the severity of their health complications due to their obesity. And time again, you watch the struggle. It is not easy to just make this exchange and say, yes, because this is so important, I will do anything. Well, actually, it's easy to say that, but it's not so easy to do that. This is why we have a podcast. This is why we have a community of people all working on these goals together. This is why TFM has coaches to help people do this. Wanting it is not enough. Wishing for it is not enough. We have to dig in and be honest with ourselves about what currency are we willing to invest. So to wrap up Terri's turbo talk for today, I wanted to just really reiterate the idea that this notion of there being an exchange rate that we need to invest to get what we want, it's just a reality. I have spent so much of my life hoping and wishing that I could be at a certain weight, that I could achieve certain goals, that I could conquer some health concerns just by sheer will and wanting it. And I'm here to tell you, I'm sure you've all figured this out for yourselves, but it doesn't work that way. So my hope is that after listening to this today, you will look at some of the things you want in your life, the weight loss, the health improvements, the better sleep, the better mobility, better relationships, better relationship with food, acceptance of your body, more self-confidence, all of these things that you want, and start looking at what do they require? What does it cost to have these things? Time, patience, commitment, discipline. What does it take? And what are you willing to invest? And if you haven't heard me or someone else say this lately, you're worth it. I hope you're willing to invest whatever it takes, whatever time, whatever effort, whatever discomfort, obviously, as long as it's safe. But I hope that you value yourself enough that you recognize it doesn't matter what the currency is. It doesn't matter the price. You are worth it. And you just need to do it on a daily basis, one step at a time. So, thanks for listening to my Turbo Talk today. And please take some time to reflect on this. And what changes are you going to make? What mindset shifts do you need to tackle in order to invest in your goals and do what it takes. We will be back next week with another episode of the Fasting Method Podcast. Until then, take good care.